My cellular. Good morning, everybody. Hang on just a moment. Hey, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning, Derek.
Hey, good morning, Tom Chenault.
My gosh.
Good
Tom
morning,
Chenault.
Tom.
What's
Morning,
up?
Sean. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, Sean.
What
All
the
these-
heck
all
are
these
Good
you?
with-
morning, Tom.
Do you have no life? Oh my gosh, look at this. Good morning, you guys.
You introduced us to him. It's your fault.
I love him. Down here having my lunch. And
Lunch.
yeah, so here we
You're
are.
just-
What do you do, man?
So I got a question for you.
What?
You kind of yesterday hit the ball out of the park with something that happened for your family,
Right.
and people wish they could get there, but they want what you got. They don't want to do what you did. Right?
Yeah.
So what's the thing from 30 years and 50 years of working hard?
Consistency, never giving up, and understanding that the lows are going to be as big as the highs, but the lows come first. That's a pretty good line.
That is a pretty good line.
Yeah, they just do. And everything you think that is going to happen right usually happens wrong before it happens right, but it happens right.
That's another line.
Yeah.
Just one-liners this morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that's experience talking. This is not a test tube. We are not in the lab. We were in the lab. The lab was that.
And it just goes to show sometimes even when you're getting ready to go to the airport, you can still go to the wrong airport.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was just getting ready to go to the airport. And he goes, "Where are you going?" I go, "The airport." He goes, "Which airport?" I go, "Dallas Fort Worth." He goes, "Well, that's interesting because you're flying out of Love Field, Tom." So yeah, I would have been at the wrong airport and missed my flight had I not gotten to have breakfast with all of you.
So you're at the ANMP, you're getting ready to go home because you got to do some other business. What's been the reason? What's been the purpose behind the ANMP?
Well, initially it was to fight the big guys, the Amways and all those guys, but we finally realized we were fighting with a toothpick and they had howitzers. So what we had to do was go with a grassroots organization that was full of committed people that wanted to abide by the integrity and the laws, not to fight Goliath, but to show Goliath there was a better way to do business with integrity and purpose and all that stuff that go along with it. And that's what we did.
I love catching Tom at 6 o'clock in the morning because there's a level of elegance that comes from that voice that I don't normally hear.
Yeah,
every day.
normally, yeah, by like an hour from now, I'm like,
So, how's your bride?
my bride is great. She's in Longmont, Colorado. The reason I'm flying home is I have a conflicting event, but there was no way ever. I've never missed this event. I will never miss this event. I think this event is the premier event of network marketing because all you are is, you're sitting in the place when you're in a big 20,000 person arena and you see that guy over there you always wanted to talk to, you have no shot. And then here, the only people, especially Thursday night, are here that are the influencers, and the rest of the crowd hasn't shown up yet. So you are among the people that you want to be when you grow up. So you get to see if you really do, which you usually don't. And the second thing is, you get to actually have a relationship with them instead of just a soundbite. I like that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
This is a whole nother thing. You sell a company and you become brilliant.
I'm just a genius this morning.
So what would you suggest? What's you have a kind of a hand in this industry. What's the thing that people are needing to do? Because I like Stormy last night.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Kinda
So you got
old school's the new school.
Kind of, yeah, but you got to embrace technology, but you can't be technology. And everybody thinks that if they just sit here and send all this garbage out and Messenger and all this stuff, that they're going to build a business. They may make a sale, but relationships take time. Over time, they say that with the advent of Zoom and social media that the average person has to be touched 34 times in order to make a powerful decision.
Wow.
34 times. And we stop at
1, 2. I'm gonna touch you there.
what's so funny is we don't stop at 1. We stop at 0.
Right.
And that's pathetic. I mean, we got to reach out. And
They didn't respond to my text.
the rotation of remember is the most important thing, because I walked in here and everybody knew my name. I was like the cheers guy. And the reason is because I've been reminding them of my name by using their name instead of an autoresponder for 34 times. So we're friends and now we're hugging. I asked Sean when he introduced me if I could kiss him on the lips on the stage, and he said yes. But man, you should have seen him run from me when he handed me the mic. It was like the Olympics. He just like heaved it at me and said, run. So he was positive I was going to lock one on him.
So you're getting ready to go home. You wish, of course, you could be here. How long till she's here?
1 minute.
1 minute. So you got 30 seconds to give more wisdom to those individuals who are struggling.
Lose the story called No One Ever Believed in You. Everybody believed in you but you. That's the kick. I'm so sick of it. No one ever believed. People tell me that all the time. I've known you. I always believed in you. It was you that was the problem. It's you that's still the problem. And you can solve the problem by looking in the mirror and saying, no, you win today. You don't lose today. You call the people that Sean said to call today. Do what he said to do. Get what he got, even if it hurts, which it doesn't.
Love you, brother.
I love you.
Thank
Can
you,
we
man.
get a screenshot of you two?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
And there you go.
Send that to me, please. I love you.
Please again. Thank you.
There you
I
go.
know what you wanted to say, Christine, and I'm glad you didn't.
And now kiss him on the lips.
Hang on, let me fix your collar.
Thank
You
you.
can't go off looking disheveled with all
Love
that.
you, Tom.
I love you guys. Bye-bye.
Love you guys.
It's a
Bye,
taxi.
Tom.
Okay.
Thank you,
Love you,
Sean.
brother. Thanks, Tom.
See what happens when the early bird gets up?
Christina, send me that, please.
You get the Tom worm. So this morning, I'm gonna sit down here, put my feet up. It's gonna be a fantastic day of 12 hours of speaking and running and doing all that good stuff. So how can I be of best service to y'all?
Have fun.
Oh, I'm gonna absolutely have fun. Hey,
I
this
know
is
you will, but be Sean and love on people like you love on us. That's why so many of us are here with you this morning at 6 o'clock.
absolutely. Last night was good. Last night was a fun event. It was a good warm up. More people will be coming in today and tomorrow. So how can I be of best service to y'all? And for those of you snapping pictures on the screen while you're on the Zoom, kind of cool. I love it. Christina said, it's hard to catch you still. So what can I do to help you in your journey this morning?
I still have to soak in everything that I heard yesterday. And I have to say I was a little bit surprised to hear Stormy's recording, because I so much expected her to go all full in social media.
Right.
She totally disrupted my image of Stormy, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and the big reason is because of the shift in psychology, the shift in what people have been programmed to and programmed through in the last 2 years. So, yeah. No, I didn't. I kind of knew what she was going to do, but Garrett was giving me some. He said, "This video is going to change. It's definitely a different Stormy." That's what he said. So, kind of cool. And let's hope Tom. He said he's flying Southwest, which is love field. So hopefully he knew what airline it was.
Hopefully he knew which airline he was flying.
Yeah. So, questions. What questions can I answer for you? What can I serve you on? What questions can I answer from yesterday, if anything, if you were on the event?
So Sean, this is Derek. Of course I can't watch the virtual because of my schedule,
Right.
but you mentioned about joining the ANMP.
Yep.
And so I would get all the past videos,
Yes.
including this one after the event.
Yep. This one after the event and all of the previous videos, all of the previous years as well. I think 4 or 5 years.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. And it's $99, and we're going to be doing a lot more. One of the things that the audience won't know, but we're doing speaker VIP packages, which they can, for whatever the fee is, get some of their clips and social media. We've hired professional photographers this time around. Normally it's, Liam, Garrett's son, running around taking some pictures and other people and photos from folks. But we've actually hired professional photographers. So it's kind of cool.
Awesome.
Love it. What else can I be of service to you for? What are you going to do to grow your business today? What's an objection you're hearing? What's a doubt you're feeling?
Good morning.
Good
Go ahead.
morning.
Who's going first?
Ladies before gents.
Oh, well, thank you, Paul. Thank you. So this isn't really a question or a doubt. It was an observation from last night, how she was talking about, I don't believe in coincidences. This was absolutely spot on when she was talking about recognition and edification, because you had just spoken about that, and it just reiterated and solidified what you had said. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, it's where we are at as a community. When I say community network marketing, we are one of the last places that exists where recognition and edification can be a normal conversation. And it's not commonplace. And the challenge is that when you start to edify somebody and you start to recognize somebody, they are so wired to not accept that they will actually. I remember when I was doing this, I got really good at checking the boxes of recognition. So good that it embarrassed people so much that they couldn't stay around because I hadn't reprogrammed their mind, which is what would put me, one of the other reasons that put me so much into the brain is, why would somebody leave a place where they're loved? And the reason is because they didn't believe it was real love. There's a difference between real love and true love. True love is what you have with your spouse, and real love is what you have with some of your best friends. And they weren't rewired to understand that you can have lifelong friends in a moment. So, yeah. And when we start to go recognize people, we have to pay attention to their micro expressions and all of the things to see if it literally can shut them down. Some of you may have experienced that or witnessed somebody who you experienced that with or through.
Certainly. And that happens not even in front of a crowd, but just one-on-one.
Yep. The I'm not enough syndrome.
Yeah. I'm recognizing that more and more with clients and potential clients, pointing out their strengths and where they shine and where they can shine even more. It does. With some people, not everyone, but with some people, they shut down.
Well, and everything that we do, whether it's wellness or friendship or anything, would it be fair to say that, and in every encounter, we not necessarily change, we adjust somebody's identity. And in the adjustment, depending upon how far, if you've ever been to a chiropractor and you've gotten an adjustment, and you're like, for when they first adjust you back to normal, the sound and the flow of blood and all of this stuff, this adjustment back to normal was uncomfortable until everything got back. So what we do, our desire is to adjust people into a life that they could call normal. Success is normal. I have yet in my 50 some plus years, 57 years, 58 years, I think this year, in my 50 plus years of excitement, I've never met a tree that was growing up that goes, I'll never be a tree. I'll just never be a tree. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I'll ever leave. And it just doesn't happen. So the universe that we know it outside of the human brain is built for success. And we come along and we get programmed to be less than, right? My daddy always said, what's the best way to have the tallest building in town? Build mine bigger or tear everybody else's down. And we've been accustomed to being around people who tear down buildings. So much so that we wind up with a tornado shelter that's buried underground so nobody can find us. And then we tell people, come out of the dark, come out of the shade, come out of the this. And oh my gosh, this is nice. This is awesome. Oh my gosh, you should sit here in the bar with me. Oh, this is okay. I like this. It's quiet. It's comfortable. But in about 2 hours, when breakfast starts going and people start coming, and this place is going to get busy, I don't know what to do with all these people. I think I have to entertain them. So we have to ask people if they're okay with their new story.
I have to ask myself if I'm okay with my story.
And so imagine this, Heather. Thank you for saying that. Because imagine if we ask it to ourselves, we ask it to somebody who has yet to come out of the shelter. They won't ask it. They will just feel uncomfortable, and uncomfortable hurts. And once they hurt, they stop. They don't realize, they forget that phrase that we all learned in school, no pain, no gain, when you're in the gym, right?
Right.
I had a conversation with a couple of powerhouse women who were in the line, and met them. And I recognized her because she was on the plane and she was reading.
You found the lady?
Which one?
You found the lady with the book?
Yes, she was in the line. Yes.
Uh,
Jennifer Abbs. And so we were standing there, And we were talking, and I explained to her the 3 questions. Because I asked them, I said, "What's your word?" And they came up with words. I go, "That's not really your word." I said, "That's a word that sounds good." I said, "But what's your real word?" And she went back to impact. I said, "Impact is amazing." I said, "You realize the power of that?" She said, "Well, I want to help people." I said, "But there's the 5 areas of life that you can't impact one area without leaving a mark in the others. So this is a universal word." And she's got 2 children, a 6-year-old and a 8-year-old. Anyway, so we were, as the event started and the doors opened, she was sitting up front, and I said, "Hey, there you are." She says, "We need a picture. We need a crazy picture together." I go, "Okay." She said, "Because you've already impacted my life." She said, "I just can't believe that in 10 minutes of having a conversation." Right? So what's my mantra? Change the way I say things, so the things I say change things. And what I'm saying is that people are wanting what you have to offer. What you have to offer. It's different than what I have to offer. And had I not walked up to them and said, "Welcome," they were at registration, and kind of put myself out there, because they don't know who I am. I didn't have on the headset. They didn't know I'm the speaker and the MC and all that stuff. It's just you go and you have a conversation with people. There's people who are waiting to hear your voice, waiting to hear your wisdom, waiting to hear your life's experiences. What does Brene Brown says? Your vulnerability gives me courage. So Heather, what do you do with all this now? I knew you were going to ask that.
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask that. First of all, I have to become comfortable with my own news story.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the big one, is I have to been asking other people about what their life is like after they are healed, but I've not asked myself. And there's a lot of areas where I need healing. So I have to, I have to, I have to do my own work.
So is it okay if, have you ever left a location where you had a friend at the same location, but they had to go home in the opposite direction?
Yes.
So you went home and they were going home. Weren't you both on a journey home, even if it was opposite directions?
Yes.
And did one of you maybe have to drive a little longer than the other one?
Yes.
So then when you got home, you were both very excited to call each other and say, "Did you make it home safe?" "I made it home safe. Thank you for letting me know you were home."
Yes.
Isn't it okay for you to go on your journey in your direction and invite everybody else to go on their journey, and you'll constantly check in? And that's what your visits are for, is to check in on how they're doing on their journey home.
Oh, absolutely.
So therefore you can be on your journey and still be checking in on theirs. So it's not so. And the reason I say that is because sometimes people will say, "Well, I have to go home first." It never works that way. It never works that way. I'm on this journey to do my third MC, and everybody who's an attendee here, we're all on the same journey. We're all on a journey to a destination. Mine is to make it with my voice to Sunday afternoon. Theirs is to get information to go home to change their families' lives. We're all on the same journey. We're on different buses, but we can always check in on each other. And this is what a community does. For those of you that see that gorgeous blonde who's sitting there in her jeans with her knee up, Stephanie, my little sister from Germany, she's on a different journey than all of us. Hey, I love you. And you see that smile on her face. How could you not just want to just gobble that up and just smother that and just give it kisses? We've never met. She's on her journey. And I love that I get to watch her journey, and I love that she gets to share her journey with us. Right? Her journey's different. Love you. Her journey's different than Christina's or Paul's. We're all on a journey. And every time we help somebody, every time we smile at somebody, they're on our journey with us. We invited them to join us on our journey. Some people don't want our smiles. Some people take it and they continue it. So this is cool.
It is
So-
cool. Thank
so
you.
So here's the challenge. You're the, how do I say it? You're the concierge. You're not the travel agent. You're the concierge. What's the difference? The travel agents put you on a plan and set you on a plan. And this is what you were. This is what you did, is you put people on plans. Well, they can cancel their vacation. And you've experienced that.
Yes.
So now the concierge, it's a little bit higher end. Hotels who have a concierge is because people came because it's a destination. It's a destination spot. New York City, they have concierges. I need tickets to the opera. I need tickets to the ballet. I need tickets to Cats. I need tickets to this. And the concierge, because of their connections, has it. So you're the concierge. You're the one that says, where would you like to go? Because I have the inside track to get you there faster and give you the VIP treatment. Versus being the travel agent.
I like that.
I know I felt that differently.
Yes.
And here's the challenge is that when you take people on a wellness journey, you literally have to tell a different story than a wellness journey because they've never been well. Otherwise, they wouldn't need you. And
Exactly.
many of them, based upon locale, might not have ever had the opportunity to request service from a concierge. So I would Google concierge and I would get I'm pretty sure it's French, and see what the real meaning is. Because that's what you are. Is listen, if they come to you, yes, you do marketing, yes, you do this, but when they knock on your door, timid and scared, how many of you would be timid and scared to go up to a concierge and go, you've never asked a concierge for any help or support, but that's what they do. They're literally paid by the hotel to be the concierge. Right? So when you look that up and you see concierges to provide value, service, or insight, you can say, listen, I'm your practitioner. I'm the one who will help you follow your plan. But you've got to tell me the exclusive exotic location you want to get to. I want to get to my daughter's wedding. I want to be around for my granddaughter's wedding. I want to be, so I'll be your concierge and get you there.
Wow. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Sometimes I'll say things that make sense.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you.
You're welcome. Love you too. Who else? Thoughts, comments, questions?
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Paul.
So I guess what I need is maybe a bit of a reality check here to see if I'm doing this thing right.
Okay.
So, and with Tom coming on this morning, this whole thing resonates with me because 2 years with contact mapping, and that's a whole other thing that's you know, all of a sudden your minds is going in a million different directions with yesterday's announcement, but the biggest challenge that I run into, an obstacle, is that I'm finding more than ever, people out there, like people are really looking for a side gig. They're looking, you know, they're looking for, you know, and in some cases, maybe not a lot, but they are just looking for some extra income. And so when I talk to people, and I have people that are actually coming up to me and just saying, like, I don't know where to go. Like, I'm getting bombarded by so many different offers that I'm so confused. I don't know which way I should turn. And that's where I ask them, if, you know, like I say, can I ask you a question? And because in my mind, it's like, okay, so then why should they, you know, what's different? Why should they join my team and my company? And so I ask them, and I just say, how many of those people that want you to join their team or their company, how many of those people have contacted you or have gotten to know you over the last couple of years? You know, and that question usually says, you know, well, I know, you know, I never knew this person before. And so then I ask them, and I'll say, well, how many times have I touched base with you in the last couple of years? You know, how many times have we kind of kept up to date with each other and built, you know, and built a relationship? And that's kind of, sometimes that's where the light bulb goes on. And it's, you know, then I ask them whether, you know, do you feel comfortable, you know, dealing with people that you don't know, don't love, and haven't built up any relationship where there's a trust? And so, you know, you can see I'm trying to lead them to the fact that I've never asked them to join my business. I've never asked them to look at may have never asked them to look at the opportunity, but I know more about them and their family, and what they do and whatever, like, you know, all kinds of little things that all these other people don't know. And so my obstacle is where, you know, I kind of lay the groundwork, but then I lose it. Then I don't know where to go from there.
Well, I think you said it. You don't ask them to join you in business. I think if you start with that, you might have a lot more people join you in business.
Yeah.
But you don't want to.
Yeah. I know, and that's still, I don't know what my block is there as to why I don't ask, but.
Well, that's called self-worth, because you don't think what you have is worthy, but you think the product is worthy, but you don't want to take. So here's what you might say is, hey, listen, you know, I've been involved in the side gig industry for a while. Let me ask you real quick, what do you not want? What do you not want in a business? One of the things I do is I'll ask somebody, I go, hey, real quick, if you were going to invest in yourself, what should be the return? If you were going to make an investment, what kind of return do you look for? Do you look for it financially? Do you look for security? What's the thing that you want to look for? Let's set up some rules so that because what happens if we don't follow our rules? We get mad, frustrated, sad, aggravated, agitated, all of those things. So the reason most people struggle in the side gig industry is they've never set up rules. So what if we just had a little conversation over coffee and set up some rules? So what's too much money to put into, what's too much money to use as an investment? $10,000, $5,000, $50? What's the return on it? Right? You go to work for 40 hours and you get a return. I bet you would like a better return on your hours. Right? And you just start asking business questions that when they come up, when it's all said and done with their rules and say, you know, I feel terrible because I've got the thing that hits every one of those rules. Why don't we look at the rules you just set? So now you're not selling them. You're simply providing a solution to the rules that won't allow them to break their rules. One of the criteria would be is how well do you have to know the person you're investing with?
Yeah, and sometimes I think it's, you know, sometimes I think it's like with my company, I almost feel like there's like it doesn't cost enough. And because, you know, I think sometimes people attribute the value of what you're offering them based on how much money they got to put in. And when the money they need to put in is very little, people don't, I think that people sometimes don't see, they don't think that there's the value or the opportunity is,
So
is there.
So what's the business question you would ask? Something like, what if you expected a 5% return but got a 15% return? Would you stop the investment?
Yeah.
If the investment sometimes was 20 or 30%, would you say this is ridiculous? Would you pull your time and energy out? What if you found that? Why don't you believe more people find a 20, 30% return on investment? They don't believe it's out there.
Right. Or they
So
think they got to do too much to get it.
those are called hidden gems.
Right.
What if there was a hidden gem right in front of you? In psychology, it's called a scotoma, a blind spot. You might not see it. I didn't see the one I'm part of for years until I did. And now the hardest conversation I have is, yes, it does all of that for the little amount that you have to put into it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just changing the story.
Right. Right. And I mean, and I do use my own story because I basically went from part-time to full-time. I went from plan A to plan B.
Tell your story. Tony Robbins talks about when he helps somebody through this phase change of the 6 human needs: certainty, uncertainty, love, connection, those needs. And he tells a story about a young kid, but at the end of it, you find out that the young kid was him.
Yeah.
So tell the story as you know, as somebody, as if you were telling a story about somebody like you, so they can hear it. And then when it's finally all said and done, you could say, oh, and by the way, if you haven't recognized it, that was actually me.
I like that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Really? Okay. Because as soon as we put I in the story,
Yeah.
they can't hear it. Because I is different than me. And so when they hear your I, it weakens their I. And the only thing they can say is, I'm not as good as you. All happening at a subconscious level. But and this is again what I call find the common enemy. And the common enemy is fear and doubt. So if you can tell a story that allows them to hear somebody who fought fear and doubt, that that they can see themselves as, then all of a sudden they can be somebody different. And then when they go, oh my God, that's you. Well, Donna, you ask a great question. Let me tell you a story about somebody. Have you ever heard of somebody doing this? And it could be you instead of this. Have you ever heard of somebody doing this? And they go, yeah, I know that. I thought you might. and you just tell the story, and then you say, by the way, the person I was talking about was actually me in that story. Oh my gosh, really? And this is where you can tell some of the struggles you've had in your life, some of the things that that person deals with. And people say, wow, you're a lot more like me than I thought.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
It's great. That gives me a lot to think about and re-engineer what I do.
That's it. I love it. Hey, Nikki, good morning.
Good morning. So a really cool meditation yesterday. I have a question for you though. I sense that I have a resistance to trading and making phone calls, and I don't know where it stemmed from. I can't explain how I feel. It's just I just find every physical way not to do it, and I'm sick of it. So can you please help me?
Sure. What would happen if you made the calls?
I would feel happy that I did what I said I was going to do.
But you're not doing the calls to be happy. You're doing the call because if it was just to make the calls and feel happy, you do that because you're okay with feeling happy. What happens? What happens when you do the calls, feel happy, and what's the next layer to that? If you make the calls and you're happy, they're happy. What do they wind up doing?
Joining my team.
Okay, and if they join your team, now we're getting into the hard part is you feel you have to do the work for them. And they're not willing to do the work because they came in a wrong way and you can't figure out why they're not doing the work they said they wanted to.
But that's the old story.
Well, it is the old story, but it's still the new story because otherwise this would have changed, wouldn't it have?
So creepy that you know that, you weirdo. Ugh, get out of my skin now. You talk to me sometimes, all the time, actually. It's like I have a own little mini Sean Murphy mastermind. Like I had a great one yesterday. I was like, ugh, okay, fine. Ask you in person then. Okay. How
So
do we?
So how do we change that?
Yeah.
Make it more about the bigger picture than it is about you, because it still boils down to you, and the I'm not enough you is afraid of being enough. But I'm working so hard on myself. Wallace D. Waddle says it's not about doing certain things; it's about doing things in a certain way, and you're adjusting your compass, and you've got 360 degrees, you got 359 degrees to try because the one that you're trying isn't working. You got to keep going. You got to go around the circle. And maybe it's the next one. Maybe it's going to be 359 other versions of it. And this is where consistency pays off. And this is why if I told you that in the driveway of your home, if it was gravel, there's 4 5-carat diamonds somewhere hidden in the grass, hidden in the gravel. Would you pick up a stone and go, this isn't the one? I just wanted it to be the one. I don't want to have to go look for the others. Until you find the diamond, you got to keep searching. And you don't throw the stone out of the driveway. You still need it. That piece of gravel is part of the driveway. It needs to be there. Otherwise, you got to replace the gravel. And you're not too busy replacing the gravel that you can't look for the diamonds. Why is all this? And then you go to cut the grass and you go, why can't I cut the grass? There's all these stones in the grass because you freaking threw them in the grass.
How can I add blinders and just focus on the diamonds?
How can you add what?
You know, when a horse runs, they have the blinders on to focus.
Oh, the
What's my blinders?
Blinders are your definite major purpose. It forces you to be focused. You can't see anything else.
That feels better.
Which is why it is absolutely so critical. Some of you have said you're going to write your DMP. Some of you have said, I'm guessing some of you haven't written it out this morning. Some of you are saying that you're going to write it, and I'm going to work on that. All I can tell you is that until you write that, you're just going to suffer. And I'll show up. I'll pat
Written
the
down.
I'll give you a cold compress, and I'll give you aspirin, and I'll give you ibuprofen, and I'll give you magnetics, and I'll let you give you a nice soft fluffy pillow or a hard pillow, and I'll let you sleep in your pain. And I will keep reminding you, and I'll tell you to wake up early, and I'll poke you, and I'll go, you said you'd get up. Don't forget, you said you'd get up. You said you go do the work, and then you don't, and then you come back, and I'll cover you up. And when you pass out because you're exhausted, and I'll say, I'll see you in the morning.
And is the same strategy, not strategy, I don't like that word.
You're using the same
but-
strategy that's keeping you from your success, from your story.
Yeah. And is that what's affecting my trading as well, or is that a different emotion?
Well, trading, how much of trading is luck, and how much of luck is state? You can watch all of the blips and pips and ups and downs and reds and greens. You can still lose. Sometimes you have to be, if you access the Akashic records, your trading will be pretty darn good. You'll learn the systems. You'll learn to follow your instinct.
I that's how I saw like my successes, when I fully like trusted myself there. And it's not that I don't, but like I said, I feel like
You keep telling yourself some untruth. It's not that I don't trust myself. Of course it's that you don't trust yourself, because you just said it. The universe doesn't hear, I don't trust myself. It just hears that you don't believe in yourself. So what do? You write out with gratitude. You start with gratitude. Did you write out your 10 blessings this morning?
Yeah.
You did?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay. So then let me know how the suffering goes.
That was a mean little bullet. Thank you for getting me up, Scotty. But I needed it. I'm gonna do it right now. Okay, stop yelling at me.
Now would be a good time. Well, I can't make that different. Listen, you've been suffering for 20 years. One day of writing 10 blessings has an unfair advantage to help reset 20 years. But you miss a day, and the 20 years turns into 40 years. And then, well, I did that for like a month. You've been doing suffering for 20 years. Why would you try unsuffering for a month and go, didn't freaking work? It worked. It changed your life every day. You had more, oh my God, you won't believe it, than you had in a year. But we won't consistently do it.
Every day. I just sometimes don't do it first thing in the morning.
Do it. You got to do it first thing in the morning. This is Wallace D. Waddles. It's not about doing certain things. It's about doing things in a certain way.
Copy, paste. Won't happen again. I need me. So,
And
thank you, Uncle.
the resistance to writing your things hasn't even begun yet.
Huh?
The resistance to writing your blessings hasn't.
Oh, I heard you. I'm like, what does that mean?
So what I'm saying is that until you start to link this chain together, the old chain is going to show up and beat the crap out of you, called the old story.
I'm so sick of the old chain. I'm done. I'm
Well,
gonna throw it away. Hot air balloon.
You keep adding links to it every time you stop building your new chain.
I wasn't aware that I was doing it, but I am aware now. So therefore,
And so what's happened up until this moment is an amazing story. You just now choose to not repeat it.
And why am I about to cry?
That's your old story. Tell it, then say, and I love that.
And I love that.
Because the part of you that knew you could have been doing this is going, see, I told you. And now you're having a subconscious debate that you know this. None of this is new. This is why strategy fails us religiously until state shows up, because state is about doing things in a certain way. Everybody does strategy. I do the certain things. I write my gratitude. Well, you sound like you're a little pissed off when you write your gratitude. Well, I gotta get it done. Well, that's probably not the state that you want to do gratitude in.
Thank you. I've been allowing certain people to pour gasoline onto that open wound, and it won't happen again.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate the beatdown, but I love the release I just got emotionally. So it's exactly what I needed. Thank you.
I love it. Thank you. Hey, Doug, go ahead, Doug.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
With regard to, I loved what you told Paul and reminded him about the business. And I will just add one subtle thing when he talks about value and you have to maybe pay more. I'm going to say he has that beautiful, authentic story of how he shows up for himself every day. And he just celebrated a birthday on how he celebrates himself every day, and that he pours into people every day, and that he's worthy, and that by partnering with him, he's adding value to their life every day. And so consequently, every day he might need to remind himself that he is himself his own treasure, because every day he adds to the blessings of everybody that knows him, like Christina does, like Derek does, like you do.
I love it.
So that value is your value added. And more important, if you don't know the answer, you're honest enough, Paul. I know this for sure, that you and I both might suffer from, oh, I know this other guy can do this too. And his is 5 cents less than mine. Because we're wired that way. So it's okay for if you cost $1 more, to charge them $1 more. Because that will make them feel like, oh, I've got the connection with you. Now I see why you're worth that amount more. Just saying, maybe. Okay, I'm done. I'll see you in a minute. So I'll save your voice.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Thanks. Hey, Donna.
Hey, Sean. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, very powerful, these discussions. It's great to be an observer and, listen and reflect and see how it's interesting, because I can relate in some of the stories. So I have 2 questions for you today. One would be, when we go and say thank you to people that we haven't done it, that we haven't been in touch in a long time, I find that they take it very odd. So I don't know how to make that transition a little bit less odd. So maybe if there is a way to stay in touch with them and use some words that maybe are not necessarily thank you, but they are good enough words. Hey, how are you doing? Hope all is good. And then maybe next time I say thank you. I don't know if you have any suggestions how to do the transition here, especially for people that I haven't been in touch with for a long time. And then I have the second question after this.
Okay, what's your second question?
My second question is, let people in the past, I have this tendency to keep thinking about the people who let me down in the past and want me to contact them. And I realize it's because if there was a conflict or something, I'm not comfortable with the conflict. And it's almost like I want to make peace with the past. So one example would be, you remember the guy that I called and you encouraged me to call. So there are some fires in Nova Scotia, and I know the guy is from Nova Scotia, and I was thinking about him. And then I was thinking, okay, should I send him a message and say, hey, I hope everything is fine in your hometown? But then my husband is like, Dana, come on, just don't even think about the guy. Just have to move on. So then I don't know why I have this tendency, and I don't know if it's okay to kind of leave the past and just focus on, on the people that you didn't have necessarily bad experience with, and focus on the meeting new people and just move on.
So question one,
Mhm.
what do you feel when people reach out to you that you haven't talked to in a while, who want to check in on you and say hello? What's the feeling that comes to you? What's the thought you have of that person when they show up to say, hey, I was just checking in on you?
Interesting.
Because you're wondering, what do they want?
Right. Why did they
Which-
show up right now? And so far they never said anything, or yeah,
Which is the same feeling you project
correct.
when you make the phone call. You don't want to be that, which is all you're thinking about, which is then all the energy that you're transmitting.
Correct.
So, the people that you want to check in on, do they have any kind of social media presence? Do they do anything on social media? They're not an influencer, but do they share
Not
anything
much.
on social media?
Not much.
Okay. So part of it is send them if you can have their text, you can start off by sending text. And say, I know we haven't chatted in a while. I'm just checking in on you. I know you've got some serious challenges with the fire going on in the area, and I hope you're staying safe.
I don't know why this text, I find this is too personal. That's why with email I'm more comfortable.
So that's a shift that might need to transition for you. Do you want to create a connection with them?
Yeah.
Let me ask this. What percentage of the emails do you open with the intent to go, I'm excited for this email? Maybe not a bunch.
Yeah.
So email is your safe place. That's your veil of security. With what you want to do in luxury travel, you're going to have personal connection. And I can tell you, a text is it's a start. 90% of texts, 98% of texts are open and read, which is why it's such a powerful marketing tool. But I would encourage you to reach out and start with friends. Here's what would be very valuable is start with friends where there's no rejection, and start to send it to friends. I'm sure you probably have. I'm assuming you have. Have you sent Christina a thank you message out recently?
No.
Send her a thank you text. Even if she knows it's coming now, she's still going to get it and smile. Start with the people you know so you can become comfortable with receiving back the love.
Yeah, it's interesting because the text I use it for very rarely. I use the text. I use more Messenger or LinkedIn or emails.
Yeah, those are places for you to, and I love you. Those are places for you to hide behind.
Right, because I have this tendency that if it's a text, I have to reply to it.
Oh my God, I have to talk to people for the love of Jesus.
Yes, this is the thing. Like I always look at, okay, my hours are 9 to 5 when I was in the job, and then I didn't want to deal with anything around work after 5 p.m., right? So it was my way to kind of get my private time. Huh.
So if you do what you love,
Mhm.
do you need private time?
No. Hmm.
You call it private time, but it's called alone time. It's called away time.
Mhm.
I do what I love. How many people do you think? I'm curious. How many people do you think at the level that I play at? I'm the MC, co-MC of the largest generic network marketing event that's held in this hemisphere. Just did 7 hours last night, and I'll do 14 hours today, and I'll do 14 hours on 20 hours on Saturday, and some on this. Why would I get my ass up at 6 a.m. to talk to you? Because this isn't work.
Mhm.
It takes some work to do it, but everybody wants what I have, but nobody's willing to do what I do. So
Mhm.
what I'm saying is that in order for you to get to the next level, it will be required for you to change some of your rules. Doesn't mean you got to break the rules. Doesn't mean you have to become lawless. But if you want more than what you've got, you're going to have to change what you did to get what you got. And this is when I talk about it's about working, doing more, doing less, and having more. All I learned was to speak. All I learned was to move people. I don't do much more than that. But look at how much more I get to do because I got really good at one thing. So text might be the thing can you imagine your story a year from now going, I remember on June 2nd, I decided to use text. I never liked it. I wanted my private time, but now my entire business runs on it and I make 6 figures a month because I learned how to text. And I have more free time than I ever thought possible. Just saying that exists. Go have a conversation with your texting doppelganger, your texting archetype.
Mhm.
This is not about doing more. Many of you and I probably suck at being able to explain it, but I don't want you to do more. I want you to do less, deeper, so that you can have more.
Mhm. So then how do I meet my objective of being present when my son is home? That's because that's why I'm like that, and I'm like keeping my private life. Okay.
Yeah, but are you really present?
No.
Because you're always thinking about that you don't want to do because this is your private time.
Yes.
So find a way to listen. I turn off the phone. One of the things I started doing after the daily awakening call is I leave my phone at the desk because the dogs are barking and I go throw the ball. And I pick up stones and I throw the ball and I check the grass and I throw the ball and I pick up stones and I throw the ball and I'll walk to the other side of the property and I'll throw the ball and the dogs will chase me. But that's my meditation time.
Mhm.
And unless you know Michelle's phone number and she calls or rings the bell and says somebody's trying to get a hold of you, you can't get a hold of me. Doesn't mean I don't love you. I just have my times. And after 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I'll walk back and I'll come back to the phone and I'll look and you know what? There was no messages. So I would have carried it around hoping somebody would have reached out to me. Oh man, had a great call this morning. Somebody's going to have questions. You got questions? If they're good, you'll hang on to them. What I find is you didn't have good questions
Mhm.
because they weren't where they didn't hang with you long enough for me to get back to my phone.
Mhm.
So I would just encourage you, you can still text and not be texting at home. Leave your phone in a certain place. And once every 2 hours, go check it.
Right.
But here's the other thing, you've got to set your rules. When you start to operate in these new levels, you say, these are the times. You look at these people who do extraordinary work. There's one guy doesn't even have who is it? It's not clear. It's not quick. It's who is it? He's a professor who publishes one of the youngest tenured professors at Wharton Business College. Doesn't even respond to email. But he's become a master of his domain because he's really gone and done deep work in it, and he's a specialist. And people pay him lots of money, and he doesn't have an email. He doesn't respond to any emails. So we have to decide what is of value. And you can say, listen, I answer texts and emails on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Could you imagine if that was the case? Tuesdays and Thursdays, I answer emails and texts. So I'll talk to you then. And people just get to know the reason that we feel we need this space is because we're a slave to those around us instead of being of service to them. When my kingdom shows up here, because my kingdom is here, all of my archetypes are here. My fun archetypes, my technology archetypes, my introduction archetypes, all of my archetypes are here. I brought them all with me. This is my kingdom that's here at the ANMP. I'm not here as the ANMP's servant. I brought my kingdom to serve the ANMP. Big difference. I could get in the car and go home tomorrow because I have my kingdom. I didn't come here as a servant to the ANMP. I came here as a kingdom to serve the ANMP. And when that sinks into your souls, that your kingdoms show up to serve others, you'll be amazed at what happens to the rest of your story.
Brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where
Hey,
were
Chris,
you? Where were
go
you
ahead.
2 months ago?
Yeah, that's going to be our line forever. Where were you 2 months ago? Because now you'll be going, why didn't I hear this 2 months ago? I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Christina.
Hi, I just wanted to share because I mentioned it in the chat. I usually see on Facebook who's celebrating their birthdays, and for today I have 7 people. So what I've started doing is video calls, video messages to wish them a happy birthday, and it was so touching. Yesterday, I received a message from someone, and she said, I'm going to save this message for the days when I need moral support. It's amazing that you take the time to do that for a stranger. And so I gave her the phone number, but it's really taking the time to, coming back to what Stormy said, people need to feel your heart. And when they do that, it's like, my heart is full because she messaged me because her heart was full. So I love that.
Scott Schilling has a community called Be the first stone into the pond, creates all the ripples. That's what you do when you do this stuff. You become the first stone.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Awesome. Who else? Thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways, take with yous? How can I serve you on this Friday?
Well, first, Sean, I'd just like to say you serve us every minute, and I couldn't be more grateful for you in my life ever. I feel like, but I really liked, I think it was Jeremy or Jesse McPherson, faith it till you make it. You know, I just really, that really moved me. I have faith in what you tell me to do and this community. And I think I just thought that was really profound. I really moved me.
So faith it till you make it is a great, it's easy said. So how do we have faith? What's more valuable? What's more powerful than faith? Gratitude.
And joy of gratitude. Yeah.
And the reason gratitude is more valuable is why? Because gratitude says it's already done. When I say thank you for the cup of coffee that's about to come, it's already done. When I say thank you to the things I'm asking the universe for, and I sit in a state of gratitude around the things I want, it's already done. The challenge is most people's gratitude is a small letter G to the entire word, and they don't spell out the rest of the word. Their gratitude is just g. You don't have the full-throated version of gratitude. They have gr. I'm great. I'm great. You're what? I'm great. You're what? I'm great. Full. I don't understand what you're saying. I'm great. I'm great. Right? It's like Fonzie trying to say thank you. For those of you that are a little older, it's the Foster Brooks. Right? Gratitude. When we truly understand the power of gratitude, and when I say true, here's the thing. When you fully experience gratitude at 100% level, it is the most addicting drug you will ever be a part of, is to be in a state of gratitude. Absolutely love everything. Somebody spills coffee all over you other than being hot. Oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever. It's when everything is gratitude, everything is gratitude. Life just absolutely, you know, the balloons that drop when somebody wins an election or something happens, and that's what gratitude does to you, going, oh my gosh, I can now pull the string. I've been giving you a balloon. I've been giving you the big Mickey Mouse ear one, the balloon inside the balloon. You've been having all these little tests and tastes of what it's like to have balloons. But when you lock in with gratitude, the freaking skies open up and you're covered in 10 feet of balloons, and you're just constantly laughing and joyous. And I encourage you all to find that level of gratitude. It's all there. It's as close as your skin. It's simply state. Who else? Thoughts, comments, questions?
Hey, Uncle Sean, I just wanted to say that there was a point in my life after my accident, after I almost died and broke my face, that even though I was in excruciating pain, it didn't hurt so much because I was so grateful to be alive. And when you said that, I just closed my eyes and I remember that feeling. I love that I have it there. Like I'm literally about to cry because I remember I was just so grateful to be alive that nothing else mattered. So, and I know how to go back there thanks to you. So thank you for that.
So the question then begs, what what else matters? What matters that is of no matter? What matters that 6 months from now isn't going to matter? It's why I always ask when somebody is mad and frustrated and they say, I need to have a conversation with you. Outstanding. Is what we're going to talk about going to matter in 6 months? Well, probably not. Then let's pick something that would.
But the gratitude's gonna matter in 6 months. It's always gonna matter.
So, but sometimes when people want to call and be frustrated. So one of the things I learned early on in network marketing, people would call and I'd say, is this to build your business or complain about your business? Well, to complain, I can do one of two things. I can hang up and you can talk to the phone and then call me back when you want to help me when you want me to help you build your business. Or we can talk about what you want to do to build your business. Because I can't help you if you complain. I can't help you about complaints about your business because that's your problem, not mine. Now, if it's
Wow,
something
you
structurally
just
or
changed my whole business.
it's something to build your business or complain about your business, because I can only help you with one of them. I'm not good at complaining about business.
Wow, that was an extra bonus that you just slid in there. Because I remember you said she had this breakthrough moment when she realized that the people she attracted into her team, she was basically a therapist. So she changed the way she addressed the business. And that's kind of what I did, because that's the realization I had with the previous team that I had, which that's why I'm so desperate, not desperate, but so focused on who I attract into my business and who I allow into my business. Because before I would just want to sign anyone up, but now it's like, okay, I want to make sure that, it's people that actually want to do it. So that's what I'm looking for now in people. So now I'm the one with standards, because I didn't have standards before. I just wanted to sign people up. So that definitely shifted, and you just helped me just, because there's obviously like other people in my team as well, but I need to ask that question every time I'm onto the phone with them. So thank you for that. And yeah, thank you. This is awesome.
You are welcome. Who else? Any last thoughts, comments, questions? Takeaways, take with yous.
I do have one more, if that's okay.
Sure.
So at what point do you stop from following up? Like, let's just say you had a conversation, you go back and forth to discuss by email, but then you see quiet on the other side. I mean, they say in the rule of sales, you go 7 times and you follow up, but then it depends, because the strategy kind of, right? If you go and follow your state, it's more like you wait for the other party to come back to you, I guess. What's your take on it?
So how often do you follow up?
I follow up about 3 times.
Well,
max.
how often should you reach out to them? So my answer is forever. I mentored two brothers in Latin America and Costa Rica for 6 years. They would call, I would answer the phone. There was never a business arrangement. I would check in on them. For 6 years, I checked in on them. They checked in. We talked once a month, once every couple of months. Anytime they'd see me at an event, they'd reach out. And 6 years later, they actually flew me down to speak at their event, one of the companies they were launching. And then that kind of went sideways. And they said, listen, you've been our mentor for 6 years. Can you find us a home? I go, well, I'm glad you asked. And because I never pushed them for business, when we did sign up and we got started, we put 1,000 people in the first 2 weeks. And then over the course of the next 16 months, we put in 30,000 people. And it's because I had a 7-year relationship with them at the time that we had 13,000 people in, that they just went to work. So had I not followed up, had I not answered the calls, so that was a 6 years to get to a business model that went to 30,000 people in an unofficial countries in Latin America where I wouldn't last an hour trying to build the business, but I sponsored 2 guys and they went and built an organization of 30,000 people.
And how often did you follow up in these 6
Once a month,
years?
years.
Once a month. Wow, great.
And just checked in. Hey, how are you? Anything I can do to serve you? What's going on? Tell me about the things that are going on. I helped them through divorces, just from chatting. I helped them be better dads. I became a friend and mentor to them, and still to this day. He now has his own company, his own trading company that's doing very well. He's in Honduras, El Salvador.
Great. Thank you.
Yep. Who else? Any last thoughts, comments, questions? All right, my little eagles. I love you bunches. Stephanie, good to see you. Erica, good to see you always. Danny, good to see you. I hope everybody has an amazing, fun-filled, joy-filled day. If you're watching again on what is it? Zoom. I guess it's a Zoom. The ANMP. If you see me on the screen, go ahead and snap some shots and send them to me, or post them and tag me. And yes, you can post the goofy ones where sometimes I'm very animated when I'm on stage. But yeah, I love you bunches. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all where?
At the next
The
event.
next event.
Next event.
The next event.
Love it, love it. Somebody
At
get
the
some
next event.
Pura vida.
Pura vida.
We love you, Mark. And
Peace be with us.
Be with us.
Please be with us.
Peace be
Love you,
with
Lydia.
us.
all right, everybody, go have a fun day and watch for some lives in the different groups. And I'll see you all on the little screen very soon. All right, everybody. Love you tons.
Bye, Sean.
Bye for now.
Bye, Sean.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Everybody have a good day.